and this is the women's team épée competition, and it's a match-up between Ukraine, who've done very well to get to this point, and Estonia, who would feel a little bit disappointed to have been knocked out in the semis, David.
Absolutely. You know, Ukraine, well, we'll go through the introductions here.
Yulia Bayeva, and that is Irina Embrich and Erika Kerpu. All of them have won major championship medals in their own right as individuals. There's Ksenia Panteleva and Elena Krivitska and Anfisa Posholkova.
So Mindaugas Palšinkas of Lithuania is refereeing with Miljan Kovacevic. So Ukraine, as we get our team salutes here, Ukraine started off really great today. They beat Hungary 34-31. Then they took on Russia, beat them 43-42. But then they had a tough match against a tough Polish team, 45-37 out there. Not a difficult start for Estonia. They took out Great Britain 45-26. Then they faced up against Romania, and 24-23 the score there. But France was just too much for them, 45-36. They never seemed to really click. So the running order is the same as before. Kusk, Belyayeva, and Embrich to start. Kerpu in reserve, and we saw her come in against France. Joanne Bajura, Ksenia Panteleva, and Elena Krivitska to start for Ukraine. And Anfisa Posholkova in reserve. And it is Embrich and Krivitska to open, and again, Embrich is closing.
Well, David, do you think things would have been any different had the European individual champion winner, Katerina Lehis, if she had been allowed to stay around and fight in the team competition? Did they have to put the team down? Could they not have reversed that decision?
You know, I don't know, but I think that decision was made by well in advance. My understanding was that it was made well in advance by the Estonian Federation. And so, you know, we just have to, you know, that was what it was. Had she been in, I don't think that Estonia would have done any worse. I think that, you know, France was just too much for them. And, you know, the fact that Kusk, Belyayeva, and not Kerpu, and Lehis all picked up medals in the individual event. I don't know. This is but this is a different group. So non-combativity called in the first will roll into the second, and it will be Kusk in for Estonia and Panteleva for Ukraine.
So now we've seen the Estonians have been running this tactic of putting Kusk down as number one when they get the left-hand draw, and then replacing her with Erika Kerpu, but as a well, actually in the matchup against France, it wasn't a tactical replacement. They left Kerpu in, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But you know, we could see clearly in that match, and I think I've got the score sheet right here, that where they brought Kerpu in was the point at which it is down here, but it's stuck to the floor.
Nice.
But she was meeting Ariane Malo, and that was the point at which Kerpu came in to face Malo.
Stuck to a piece of 1984 chewing gum.
Exactly.
This venue built for the was it the World Championship Table Tennis in 1984, back when this country was part of Yugoslavia.
We've had a video review called. Panteleva getting a hit there. was crawling around on the floor when it happened. Call stands.
So Christina Kusk, 45th in the world ranking. That was before her silver medal from these championships will be taken into consideration. When did they update the world rankings?
Well, I was expecting them to update after each event, and
Well, they haven't, though,
but
have they?
but they may be waiting for the Asians and Pan Americans to complete, because they're going on at the same time. Yeah, so it may be another week before we see a complete update of the rankings. Because I keep checking, and I think that we may see a change in the men's épée.
At number 1.
Yeah. I believe we may see Bogdan Nikishin take over the number 1 spot. There from Kusk. Double.
Yeah, so double scored, brings the score to 3-2. And looking at the team from Ukraine, you've got Elena Krivitska, world rank number 4, bronze medalist at the World Championships last year in Leipzig. She isn't anchor. And she fought her first match and went non-com. What tactics is that's going on? What be going on there then?
Well, as we end the second 30 seconds early, it will be Belyayeva on for Estonia and Joanne Bajura for Ukraine. I mean, there'd be any number of factors that that come into play there. We've got Bajura and Krivitska in 7 and 8, and it's a bit like Hartung or Wagner closing for Germany in the semifinal that we saw. It was Matthias Sabo. But what we had was in the lineup Hartung, Wagner, Hartung, and then Sabo to close. So, tactically, they're looking to position themselves to come strong into the final third and hopefully, hold a lead. Pantayeva is a very capable fencer.
Yeah, they're all capable, but with the team from Ukraine, they have the one that's certainly on world ranking terms is top 5 in the world, and the rest are outside the top 30.
Big hit there for Belyayeva.
Yeah, the lead means so much more in Team épée, doesn't it, than either foil or sabre?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to see them try and keep it close. Nobody wants to go chasing a lead, and the reasons are very clear, because if you are chasing, and we see it in almost any match, then you've got a problem. The other person knows you're chasing, and the more you press, the more likely you are to give up hits.
But that's more apparent in épée, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So the first time Estonia in the lead, Bayeva
She's
fencing very well.
come in fired up here.
She's the best ranked of the Estonian fencers. Is a former world champion. Well, that was a little bit too simple.
Sometimes simple is best. Well, Bajura, I was just checking. Was about 10 places higher up in the rankings than she is now. She's on 33. I don't think she's had a particularly good season. They'll step away. That ends the third. Good outing there for Bayeva.
First time Estonian team have gone into the lead, going out of an exchange. And we're done with the first third of this competition. So we've seen everyone so far, apart from the reserves. Bayeva looking good for Estonia. We haven't seen much of Krivitska because they went to
non-combativity.
Non-com very quickly in the first. So now
it is Kusk. She is staying on and up against Alina Krivitska. And Krivitska off to a flying start.
Well, now we might see Krivitska try and put the hammer down a bit against Kusk. She's doing just that. A real up in tempo as we've gone into the fourth, and this is a tactic that Ukraine have definitely planned. I mean, looking at it, you think, well, okay, by putting Krivitska in at number 2, as it were, so that she'll fence second last, the tactic might be get a lead, try and hang on, establish a decent enough lead, and
exactly.
See it out. So if she's going to do it, she's got to, got to make an impact now.
Well, one thing is that looking at form from earlier in the day, Kusk was either tactically or completely. She gets a nice ducking counter there. Either tactically or, in the case of against France, a complete substitution from Kerpu. When Kusk was coming up against somebody who could be considered the strongest fencer for the opponent. This time Kusk is staying in, and I mean, I don't think I'm being unfair here if I say that Irina Embrich has struggled a bit today. She is into close, so I'm wondering if maybe they're holding Kerpu to see where they are, and if necessary, bring her in for Embrich in the 9th and final leg.
So whenever
Embrich is coming in the next leg.
Yeah, so whenever the scores go level, the pace tends to drop because
It does.
no one wants to give up that lead. The point becomes so much more valuable. Double will do nothing to...
I fully expect them to step away now.
45 seconds left on the clock. Are they going to call a halt to it, or...
No, I think
Krivitska's the one
she's
that
hungry for another point.
Yeah, Krivitska's the one that wants to make an impact. But obviously she's got to be wary. Can't get caught on the counter. Quite big distance they've got there. Then they do step away. And 8 apiece. Interesting encounters so far. Very early days.
Well, 2 of those hits in that leg were from doubles, and it is Embrick back on here in the 5th to face Joanne Bajura.
Bajura, 26 years old, ranked number 33 in the world.
On combativity.
Yeah, so non-combativity called for the second time in this match. The scores rest at 8 apiece.
All right, we've got Yulia Belyaeva back on for Estonia. She'll face Ksenia Pantayeva. And it was Belyaeva who broke Estonia out of their doldrums in the 3rd.
Well, it's shaping up that Belyaeva and Krivitska are the impact fencers.
And they are.
And they're going to, well, they are scheduled to meet, both of them to meet in the 8th.
Well, depending on where we are in the 7th.
Belyaeva attacking and getting caught with the counter attack, which means Ukraine go into the lead. Belyaeva will continue to press, continue to attack. She's the one that's controlling it, looking for that opening, and finds one there.
Yeah, nice long lunge there.
So 9 apiece. Belyaeva calling the tune in this leg.
Well, having picked up a gold, a silver, and a bronze in the individual, the Estonians really would like one more.
Well, it was almost second intention there, wasn't it? Bayeva was pressing, and just enticing an attack on.
A feint in the high line, step back, and Pantayeva going for a hit to the foot. That was a setup, and she got caught out.
Yeah, classic example of second intention, wasn't it?
And Pantayeva is really thinking through this.
She might throw in a real attack now.
Yeah.
There we go. Just as I said it.
Yeah.
Just as I called it. She did exactly what was needed. So, mixing it up. Feint attacks to draw the attack on with second intention of stepping back and then hitting with a counter. And that time, setting it up the same, but continuing through with the attack.
That'll do it. They step away and back to a 2-point margin for Estonia. Well, but, you know,
it's enough
if
for
Estonia,
now.
it's enough for now, but Estonia is going to have a full, they're going to have full participation to make this work. Okay, this is the 7th. Kusk and Bajura.
I think if I was to lay odds as we're going into the business end of this match, then I think if anything, it's with Estonia. Estonia seem to be a little bit more in control. They've been in control pretty much all the way through.
Well, I think the 8th is going to make this match, and I'm keeping an eye on the Estonian box to see if they are thinking of making a move in, for the 9th. And I don't see any indication of that at the moment. Nice there from Christina Kusk.
Well, she fell short with the first one, didn't she? But was able to continue on with the remise.
They were in really close. Okay, now I wonder if Bajura will abandon here, because it's a 4-point. Gap that Krivitska is going to have to make up if Bajura cannot.
Even though they're edging to the left-hand side of the piece, it seems to me, I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kusk is the one that's controlling the distance by backing away.
Well, yes, to an extent. But Bajura is in a position where she's not pressing aggressively, but Kusk knows, and Bajura knows that Kusk knows, that Bajura has got to initiate some action here. And so if Bajura just keeps pressing forward and doesn't, then Kusk can take a step lunge and get a hit. And now Ukraine is officially in trouble.
Yeah, that was almost a carbon copy of the previous point.
Kusk offering there to end the pain, but Bajura is going to stay in. And that's a big risk.
Bajura needs to press more, and take control of the footwork.
Well, Kusk
lovely,
going
accurate,
for
accurate.
a flick across the guard, and Bajura comes up underneath, catches her on the hand. Now Kusk has gotten that hit back to a 6-point margin, and that's going to do it for this. That's going to do it for this leg.
Yeah, well, that was
huge.
Well, yeah, crunch. We do say when you go into the final third, that's when things start to get serious, and things are serious now.
Yeah, well, Alina Krivitska is coming on for Ukraine, and she's going to have to face a very fired up Yulia Belyayeva, who is protecting a 6-point lead. And
yeah, that last one, 5-1 Kusk over Bajura.
I fully expect Krivitska to up the pace. I mean, she'll be careful. She doesn't want to give up any more hits.
Well, Kristina Kusk only finishes on a +2 indicator. The couple of hits that she gave away in the second and the fourth. But sometimes, you know, it's more important when you score those points than how many you score.
Well, if they win by 2, they can thank her. It's a risky move there from Belyayeva, and Krivitska does a great job suppressing the blade as she comes in.
Well, Krivitska's no slouch. Not at all. And this, I get the feeling, is the crunch leg.
It is. It is. This is going to determine where this match is going to go.
Oh, beautiful from Krivitska.
It's not looking good for Estonia.
Well, yeah, a couple of points. Krivitska's got back. Belyayeva just needs to focus and stay with it. And she's perfectly capable of doing that.
She badly needed that.
Yeah.
You know, Krivitska, of anybody in the room right now, I think Krivitska is probably top of the table in terms of, you know, who could do something about that 5-point lead. Unfortunately, Belyayeva with a step back makes it a 6 again.
Yeah, I think they're pretty evenly matched, Belyayeva and Krivitska, certainly in terms of experience. And fighting at the highest level. Both of them World Championship medalists. Krivitska is the current bronze medalist from Leipzig. And Yulia Belyayeva, well, she won a gold. Was that back in Kazan?
That was in Budapest.
In Budapest,
2013.
Yeah, the year before, 2013. So 19-13 the score.
Nice. Krivitska launching an attack and beautiful block out there from the Estonian.
Yeah, 44 seconds left on the clock. They're going to fence all of that. because Krivitska
has no choice.
Yeah, and she's the impact player. They took a risk putting her in that number 2 position.
And it is Irina Embrich who is closing for Estonia.
Oh, nice. Returns the lead to the 6-point advantage. And now Krivitska's going to go for it. She really has to throw everything at it in the last 10 seconds. But Bayeva will not panic.
Well, she knows it's coming.
Yeah, well, caught on that time, but good defense the time before. She's running at it, it's a double. It's almost like it's the final leg, isn't it?
Well, it really kind of is. You know, anything can happen in that 9th leg between Embrich and Pantelejeva, but you know, these are the big guns.
Lovely.
So Krivitska is trying to do what she can for Pantelejeva. That's after the halt. After the halt.
Yeah. So
and now Krivitska asking for a video review.
I'm not sure how much that's going to actually
First of
tell
all,
the referee.
there's no sound.
And there's
on the
no
video.
sound on the video review. I think,
but it was quite clear. It was a full 2 or 3 seconds before.
Oh, he's giving it. Well, brings us to just within 4. Well, it was a risky strategy from the Ukrainians, putting Elena Krivitska in as the second last. Score sits at 25-21. It's not impossible, but it's a massive ask from Pantelejeva, who's just 24 years old, and she's up against Irina Embrich.
I think the bigger issue is Embrich's performance here. She's struggled a bit. She's coming back from an injury. She's up for that.
Well, interesting that Embrich has gone 2 non-combativities in the first and in the 5th. Both of them when the scores were tied, well, 0-0 in the first, obviously, and then 8-all they were tied in the 5th, and that went very quickly to non-combativity. So she's not really fenced yet in this bronze medal match.
Well, at least she'll be fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
See, this is not safe. This is not a... There's a lot of risk here for Estonia.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no... 45 is a long way away. You're not going to double your way out. This is going to go the full 3 minutes.
No, definitely said help that time. That was a big call by the referee.
That was. Nice from Embrich.
It's the defense. You know, is your defense better than your opponent's attack?
Well, Pantelejeva is just, she's trying to throw everything at it. She's got time. That was nice there.
Well, 4 points were in it when we started this final leg. We're now just shy of halfway through. That's 3 points now. Embrich now perhaps being more positive, not giving away, not conceding ground.
Well,
throwing
in an
attack.
It wouldn't hurt her to use a little bit more of the piste instead of just standing in one spot. And hoping for the best.
It seems like to me like she's standing her ground, waiting for the attack to come in, and then either trying to duck inside or jump back out of the way. She's waiting to see what Pantelieva will do.
Well, she'll do a duck and counter, and she's looking to get those hits.
Watch when your opponent just runs straight onto your blade.
Pantelieva she's big, she's strong, she can move your blade right out of the way. And now it's going to come even more fast and more furious.
But the lead remains intact at 4 points. Down to 3. It's not got any better than 3, has it? Or did it go down to 2? It got to 2 at one stage.
That was
back up to 4.
Key.
I think Arina Embrich is just backing herself here. She's backing her ability to go and outscore or score as many as Pantelieva. She just needs to keep going with what she's doing. And as long as for every one that Pantelieva scores on the attack, she can get 1 or 2 back in a kind of defensive mindset. So now we're down to 2. So there we go. So inviting the attack on.
Yep.
Sometimes it comes through, sometimes she gets hit, other times, it's a brilliant counter. Like that. Okay,
but see, it's like she's looking for one type of hit. And now Pantelieva is helping a bit because she's just literally flying in.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time that Embrich actually initiated an attack of her own.
No need to. This, we all knew this was coming.
Well, 20 seconds left, and the lead remains at 4. Well, now as we accelerate, doubles become slightly more important. 13 seconds left on the clock, but
that's
only 5 points now on the scoreboard. So we're down to within 3. Closest we've got to is within 2. That was better. Oh, now did he called halt again. And this is exactly the same call as we saw. Was it Krivitska? Or was it Bezhura? It was Bezhura, wasn't it? The last hit of Bezhura.
Krivitska.
Was it Krivitska?
Yeah.
No dice this time. Going early. So they're going to reset the clock, run the clock back up to 7. You can't see the, well, you can if you look closely at the scoreboard there. You can see the tenths and hundredths. Tenths and hundreds came in after London 2012 in
indeed
in a women's épée competition. That was was it the semi-final? It was the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Shinalam against
Britta Heidemann.
1 second lasted for about 10 minutes. So that is pretty much that. 42-37. Time for maybe a couple more sprints forward from Pantayieva. But you've got to say, looking back at this,
that's it.
It's been a really good tactical and perfect technique, I think, from the Estonians. They had a plan and they implemented it really, really well there. They knew that Krivitska was the power player, and
33 points scored in that 9th leg.
Yeah, though that was always going to be putting the hammer down, but interestingly, at the end, a lead of 4 going into the final leg turned into a lead of 5 at the end. And Embrich, very, very experienced and very capable of defending that 4-point lead that she was given going into the final leg. It's very different, isn't it, in épée, defending a lead as it is to having to try and make up a deficit.
Well, I mean, we saw a textbook example right there where, that's what happens, in épée when you've got that kind of situation. If you're trailing, you have no choice but to just throw yourself completely in. If it's a 2-point lead, if it's a 3-point lead, that's a different matter. You've got time. You've got 3 minutes to put together some hits. But there comes a point, if you're still behind, when you just have to say, you have to go hell-bent for leather, as they say.
Well, the Estonians, they'll be buoyed by the bronze medal, but they'll be looking to go to the World Championships in Wuxi and defend their gold medal from Leipzig in 2017. But they'll be up against, a strong team.
All the same people they were last year.
Yeah, from China. And the Chinese have done particularly well.
Well, Hugh Aubrey
this year, mainly down to the
fact
really
built that. He's found some fencers